Okay, so this is a video. It's just a friend of mine died, Billy, a repairer in Doncaster, just outside Doncaster really, and his shop was on what they call Soper's Corner, and his shop was called Cobbler's Corner, like I said, just outside Doncaster in Bentley, and yeah, lovely chap. And anyway, the video is shot how it is now, how it's, you know, probably going to be flats or something, and we're just trying to move some of the machinery on that's there. It's a shame that it'll go to the scrap man, but anyway, watch the video. And you know, a bit sad that this is just how the repair trade is going. A lot of repairers finishing dying off, and no youngsters really coming through and taking over. So yeah, have a look at the video, and we'd like your comments. So this is my old friend Billy's shop. Unfortunately, the wind has been put through, and this was his old cobbler's shop. Let's just see if anybody's in. Right, we're in, and this is the old cobbler's corner, and these are the old machines. And do you know, as old as this machine is, it's got the brushes, it's got the pad wheels on it. Pad wheels, we don't see pad wheels anymore. You have a pad wax that goes onto your pad wheels for smoothing down and sort of conditioning the edge of a leather heel stack and a leather sole. That's a bald brush. Another pad wheel. Scouring wheels here. These are split, what we call split wheels. And yeah, they were the old system before we got big bands in for the machine. Oh, excuse my fingers around the lens. Dust extractor, so bolted onto here would have been a NARM keg. The dust extractor, it's probably about here somewhere. And yeah, and then we've got the trimmers on the end and the groover. And setting iron, that's a part of a setting iron. There would have been a full set of setting irons on there. Probably lying about somewhere, but still a serviceable machine, still usable. You know, in somebody's garage, that would be perfect, that old machine. There's a big old motor around the back, and then there's an outsole stitcher here. Keats and Bexon, this could be, I don't know, 60, 70 years old, this machine. And we did have it running last time we were here, and it ran up beautiful. And unfortunately, stuff like this is going to go to the scrap man. Nobody wants it nowadays. Lots of repairers going out of business or retiring. Nobody coming along to take over, and it's such a shame. This machine is a beauty. It really is. And you know, it's a work of art. It's just cleaned up. That wants to be in somebody's living room, that, as a piece of industry. I would have thought £150 would have bought that machine, save it going to the scrap man. Maybe this old machine here, same again, £150. If I had room for it, I would take it and I would restore that bugger, because it's gorgeous. We've got the bench here, the good old bench, and the last set that goes with it. And this would have had all the top pieces in and all the nails and everything. I think the bench has got to be £100. Look at that. Put that on there. Good God, what a solid, fabulous base to work from. And then you would put that on there if you had some boots to do. And that's a good long last for putting boots on. Oh, fabulous. And then pull the pin out at the side, twist that, and then the whole thing would turn, so you could work on the toes. And God, Paul's going to see this, and he's going to be wanting this. Yeah, that whole thing there, I think it's £100, I think. He was repairing here for a lot of years, and did some lovely repairs, Billy. He retired And then unfortunately not long after he retired he got ill and he died, and that's why everything's going, you know. Yep, what a shame, what a shame. Right, and then through here we've got, this is the big old motor for the finishing machine. That's a beauty, that is. Oh, look at that, you can't hear that spinning. Yep, and this is a Ranger, hand Ranger, for cutting the sheets of leather, sheets of rubber. Set the width of the leather that you wanted, and you would cut, you might even done belts on there, cut belt leather on that Ranger there. Look, that will be, I would have thought, 50 quid, something like that. Now that is a beauty. The old Singer sewing machine in full working order, still got its drawer, the original drawer for the machine. Can we see a number on here? I can't really, just, normally we have a number with the date of manufacture on there. It will say K29, that's a model of the machine. And just check the treadle. Oh yes. Yeah, that'll be for sale as well. Not be cheap for this Singer, but it is a beauty. Some old key machines there. Unfortunately, they're all obsolete, and then there's a few boxes of old stock here. Look at this. This is some really old bits and bobs. Look, heel taps there for your tap shoes. Some new belts that have never been stained up or had buckles on, and boxes and boxes of old stock. Some of it, of course, will be worthless. What's that there? Look, old buckles and yep. Such a shame, but it's all got to go. Otherwise, it's going to the scrapman. So we found Billy's first aid kit. There it is. Lovely first aid kit. Everything in there unused. Yep, from 1961. Wow. At least he had a first aid kit. There'd be lots of old repairers out there that didn't have a first aid kit. Well done, Billy. Boxes and boxes of old stock. All sorts of little brushes and heels and top pieces. What have we got here? We've got buckles and laces, bits of leather, steel heels. Yeah, all sorts of stock that's what we got in here. Segs, Blakey segs. Look at those little. Can we focus on those? Blakey segs in a lovely old tin. Yep. Neoprene glue to sell to your customers. Stick your own shoes, and then insoles. So I've just plugged the old sewing machine in, and the motor fired up straight away, and you just, how nice is that? How nice does that sound? What a super smooth machine. And the poor thing is destined for the scrapyard. Wow. It is such a shame. Of course, Billy cut keys as well. This old machine is put some panels on the front of it, but underneath here the machine would have stood framework, just a loose framework, and but it spins up nicely. Yeah, Yeah, lovely. What a shame.